Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. Dude, we're talking about the Macho Man. His final professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
This is just a really interesting thing. I know we're going to talk about it as you lay out the build. We're going to talk about it during. It's pretty surreal. How did you come across this match?
Yeah, there's so many, I say, moving pieces to people in this. Like, if I had told you, like, the Macho Man Randy Savage's last match was going to be in TNA when he was tagging with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles and taking on Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, like, you'd be like, okay, buddy, like, go home, you're drunk. Like, that's not a thing. Like, that's like, go snap into a Slim Jim and get out of here. Like just a wild pairing and group of people that to have this match. And part of it is like, I say this early days or kind of days in TNA, like, I knew probably, but forgot that, like, Hall and Nash were like, why are all these people in TNA? Like, what the hell? Like, it's just wild. Like, all these different people, like, you associate AJ with it, but like Jeff Hardy had a run, like Jeff Jarrett had like all these guys, like, it's just crazy to, like, were they following the WCW model for a little bit here? Like, just, it's crazy to see them in the ring. But I know, like, I know very, other than the kind of write-up I did, I intentionally try to avoid a lot of this because I was like, I'm just really interested how this match is going to play out and how everybody looks, and are they even going to be moving okay? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm very curious as well. My expectations are not high. I mean, we're covering this for the pageantry and significance, not for the technical abilities of the match.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into, are you ready for it?
I'm as ready as I can be, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to say it. So as ready as we're going to be. I'm interested to cover this one. So
yeah,
let's jump in.
Build.
All right, let's get into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, so turning point 2004. Impact Zone, Orlando, 700 people, December 5th, 2004. You mentioned WCW. We're a couple years out of WCW at this point. I don't think TNA wanted to be WCW, but there's just a lot of remnants of WCW here. Jeff, I've said this before, but you just forget how many people went through TNA. And as I go through this card, you're just going to be like, well, that happened? That happened?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, right. So Team Canada, Eric Young and Bobby Roode are going to defeat 3 Live Crew, which is Brian James and Ron Killings. They're going to win the NWA World Tag Team Championships.
They tagged. I say it's interesting. Like they tag teamed a lot. Billy or Road Dogg and R-Truth. That's crazy. Yeah.
Sonny Siaka, Hector Garza, and Sanjay Dutt are going to defeat Kid Cash, Michael Shane, and Kazarian in a 6-man tag in 11 minutes. Monty Brown's going to defeat Abyss in a Serengeti. That's the word.
It's a hardcore
Serengeti
match,
survival match. 12 minutes.
Yep.
Pat Kenny and Johnny B. Bad I got to go back and watch that. Are going to defeat the New York Connection of Johnny Swinger and Glenn Gilberti, Disco Inferno, in 7 minutes. Yep. Jacqueline's there as well. DDP is going to defeat Raven in 12 minutes. PD Williams is going to retain
in a good match. That was a high-ranked match, too. Yeah. I got the ratings pulled up. Yep.
PD Williams is going to defeat Chris Sabin to retain his X Division championship. Then the match we're going to cover. Then in a 6 sides of steel match in the main event in 21 minutes, America's Most Wanted are going to defeat Triple X. So that's your show. How in the hell did we get to this 6-man match?
Yeah, how do we get here? So not a ton of build, like you said. This card was all over the place. So this match we're covering, we'll just say it's on the lower end for now of the stars. That DDP Raven match actually got 3 1/4 stars. Your main event got 4 3/4 stars. That's almost a 5-star match. We need to cover that one, and so which is crazy. And so even that Road Dogg and our Truth match got 2 1/4. So I mean, just wild. But this match itself, and so. We'll go back. It was Victory Road. It was the previous month. It was during the main event for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship between Jarrett and Hardy. Nash and Hall interfered and cost Hardy the match. And so afterwards, Nash, Hall, and Jarrett joined together and they dubbed themselves the Kings of Wrestling and then proceeded to jump Jeff Hardy. And so following that, you had Road Dogg. I don't know why I keep saying Billy Gunn because it's BG James, but yes, you had Road Dogg, Ron Killings, and Conan, and them having that interaction with them, and then you had Styles coming out to aid Hardy. So you had Nash, Hall, and Jarrett won the fight, but then you had Styles getting involved in this as well too. And so you had Savage then, so this was literally like the week beforehand, making his debut in TNA, aligning himself with Styles and Hardy. And so after some kind of back and forth, a little bit with the teams, Savage actually challenged the Kings of Wrestling to a match at Turning Point on this November 19th episode of Impact. And so it was like a week later, they agreed to it. And so it was really like within a month time frame, you have like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall aligning themselves with Jeff Jarrett. You have Macho Man Randy Savage debuting and aligning with Jeff Jarrett or Jeff Hardy. And then you have AJ Styles involved with that team just because, wanting to take on Hall and Nash and Jarrett. And so very tight in regards to how this played out and when it happened. But the match we're going to let it play out and see what happens here.
All right. I'm ready when you are.
We
got our YouTube clip
here, but we're got our YouTube clip. I'm ready.
We're going to hit play. We're going to discuss it. We're going to watch the entrances in the match. All right. We got our clip. You'll post the link.
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, let's do this.
Time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
This matchup is all about the ongoing struggle, the ongoing fight for power in TNA. It's time for the 6-man superstar tag match. Styles and Hardy, we don't know about the Macho Man. He's been kidnapped against the Kings of Wrestling.
Okay, so Macho Man is kidnapped.
Yeah, he disappeared for a little bit before this one too. Yeah, it's kind of a weird piece of the storyline, but yeah. So he will not be. He's not making the debut with or making the in ring. You got Hall and that boy. In
Kings,
Elvis
Kings of
inspired.
Wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Elvis
they're dressed as the king. Okay.
Jarrett as
Here
well.
comes Jarrett. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just it's so obvious that Hall and Nash are there for a payday.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's I don't know. It is what it is, right?
I already have an ad too. You'll have to.
Well, we both do, so it's good. The timing, we're going to have the same timing. So We have
All
an
right,
ad.
I skipped. I'm at 102, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. Okay.
Okay, we're good.
We'll just let it play out. Yeah. Yeah, Hall seems to be moving a little slow. Like, I'm sure both of them are feeling it. Jarrett was still kind of wrestling a lot, and so I'm sure he's okay. It is weird. So this was we've talked a little bit before the impact zone before down in Florida. Yep. And them filming down there, just outside of Universal Studios, actually. Yeah, which the building, I believe the building is still there. I forget we looked into it, and I forget what it's currently being used at, but yeah.
Well, it's just a standard soundstage, it looks like.
Yeah, and nothing because this is back when Universal was filming more down there and kind of having that. Yeah, and so um, let's see here. For the first half of 2023, AEW's sister promotion, Ring of Honor, also taped its weekly show at this soundstage. Dark was also taped there.
Oh, you got AJ Styles coming out.
Stop the invasion now! If you don't stop it now, they will strangle TNA! Dusty gave full access to the TNA.
So young,
Just
so young.
A baby AJ Styles. Yeah.
Yep.
Got even the weird looking ring gear, like I say, it's the blue. Yeah, everybody's so the Kings of Wrestling all came out together, but now you've got AJ came out separate. You got Hardy's coming out separate as well.
Speed and quickness. They're going to have to stay out of the ground of the 70-foot dog in the net.
All right, so we don't know if Macho Man's going to come out because he was abducted,
Kidnapped.
correct?
Yes. Yeah, he's not there, and currently not there. Yes. But the six-sided, it's always weird when you see that six-sided ring. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
So we getting Macho or no?
Superstar tag match. Now they got a 5-man, and I'm going to tell you something.
Out of the gate, no.
AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to start the match. We'll see what happens here. Let me ask you this. So, obviously, we've lost a lot of awesome wrestlers young.
Yep.
I know it's easy to dismiss the WWE Hall of Fame. Oh, it's not a real Hall of Fame. Oh, it's whoever Vince wants to put in, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. I've been to a number of those. You and I have probably both watched all of them.
Yep.
It means something to those men and women. It's a big deal. Okay. And for some people, it's the cherry on top of a career. For some people, it's the first time they've been able to go out and be that character in decades. It just means a lot to them. And even when we've lost someone like a Vader, like a Boss Man, like a Rick Rude, like a Mr. Perfect, their families are proud to be there as well.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a very real thing. I think it's something they've always taken seriously. I think Vince has always took it very seriously, and you can tell obviously Triple H is continuing that. So my question to you is, of every early deceased wrestler that wasn't able to give their own speech and be there for the Hall of Fame, who's the one you wish had that opportunity? For me, the one that comes to mind, number one, without a doubt, is the Macho Man. I just feel like it would have been awesome to have him there, have him give the speech, have him make amends with Vince and with the company like the Warrior was able to do. But to me, it was Macho Man's the one. What about you?
I'm pulling up the list right now. Yeah. Cause I'm curious, not only like, I'm curious to see that. I'm also curious like who isn't in there that should be in there. And so, yeah, I'm just going back a little bit here. I'm pulling up the big list of people here. Let's see here. They were all around. They were around. Yep.
Oh, here. So in terms of,
would have been interesting.
Yeah. So in terms of Owen has not been inducted.
Yeah,
Pillman
I
was
think
not
we'll see that
inducted.
eventually. Nope. Bulldog was. I think he would have been interesting to hear. Definitely.
Sid would have been. That's one that would have been nice too.
Yep. Let's see
Obviously, a
here.
lot of those guys, like a Rick Rude, like a Mr. Perfect, like a Boss Man,
Yep.
would have been John
I
Tenta
was,
Earthquake.
I was just gonna say Rick Rude. Yep. That's the big name that I think should be in the like Big Boss Man. I think I don't make no secret how I feel about him, but like I think that would have just been a fun one to see as well too. Let's see here. Yep. We did get, I mean, yeah, like you said, how it means to people. Jake the Snake, it meant the world to him. That was in the what was it, the resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Yeah,
Like that was huge for him.
meant the
And to
world to
kind of
Scott
have that,
Hall.
and DDP, like yeah, like all those
Yeah.
guys, like yeah, like the flip to them of like trying to get healthy again. So you've got Hall working AJ at this point. We had Jarrett in there a little bit ago. Hall doesn't look too bad. Like he's moving. Like not. AJ is going to make most of this happen. Somebody I don't believe he's in there that I think would be interesting to see would be Luger. Like that would have been, that could have been
Yep.
a really
Well,
good speech to
Luger.
kind of hear. I'm
Luger
sure he would
needs to.
have.
Luger. I'm surprised Luger hasn't been inducted yet. I feel like this has to be the year. It's got to be coming up soon.
Yep, absolutely. I think that there's just a lot of people that because who have they announced for this year? Anybody yet? Nope, not yet. Batista's still out there. They haven't done anything with him yet. This could finally be his year. Bam Bam Bigelow, another one who's I'm going through. I'm looking at a list right now. 20 names who should be in the Hall of Fame but aren't. Um, Vince is number one. Okay, The Rock, Owen, Heyman. So this list is a little older because Heyman is in there. Christian, there's no way while he's in AEW, that's not happening. You got Miss Elizabeth on the list. That would have been very interesting to see her. Vader, Bam Bam. Yeah. So I think there's a lot. Like I think they've got a lot to pick from and a lot to big name on here. I see Sable. Like,
Yeah.
you can't discredit what she did. So I'm at 801, 2, 3, 4. I don't know about you, but yeah, I had another ad pop up. 805, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. I'm ahead of you, but I'm going
So
to
you got,
wait. So just stay where you're at.
that's fine. Yep.
Where are you at
So
now?
820, 820, 21, 22, 23. Yep.
Boom. We're
So
good.
you got you got Nash and AJ working each other. AJ's really been working most of this match, taking out everybody too. Hall taking the bumps just looks like he's fighting for his life in there. You got Hardy with the drop kick. Got everybody in the ring at this point, just kind of craziness. But Hall and Hardy, or excuse me, Nash and Hardy, the legal men. Yep.
It's just kind of, it's almost surreal seeing like Jeff Hardy and Kevin Nash wrestling and AJ Styles and, Scott Hall going at it.
In a six-sided ring. Yeah, just crazy. In front of 700 people. They're not even like, it's not even a huge venue.
Yeah.
So Hardy taking everybody out at this point. Yep.
Pretty wild
Yeah.
that 3 of the 6 guys in this match are still active wrestlers.
Right. No kidding. Like, and everybody's alive. Like, so far. Like, but yeah, just crazy. So yeah, like we said, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like we said at the top here, like AJ and Hardy kind of carrying this one. Like not many bumps from Nash and Hall. Like yeah, Jarrett too was working quite a bit here, so he's still going out there. But you've got the 3 of them really carrying this match. Yeah.
Do you? Let me tell you my thoughts and then weigh in. But my question to you is going to be: do you buy the AEW TV deal being what it is? And I am of the belief.
We haven't talked about this. Yeah.
I am of the belief that I don't believe anything that I've read. I think here's the deal. So it's a really interesting situation because AEW is a private company. So things WWE has to disclose, money of their TV deals, actual hard cash hitting the balance sheet from those TV deals. It has to be divulged, right? And AEW is a private company. AEW may or may not have any pressures to generate a profit. So I believe in this TV deal. It is not nearly what it was made out to be. I just refuse to believe that whatever, 120, $180 million, whatever it is going to be transferred from Turner to AEW's bank account. Okay. I think there's a lot of goofy math in there that allows AEW to save face while a struggling media company not giving a content that is drastically down in their ratings year over year and over its 5-year history and trending in the wrong direction a bunch of money. So I just don't believe it. And you can say, well, why wouldn't you believe it? Well, why would I believe it? And then, oh, by the way, they own part of AEW. Don't know what percentage. So it's like if you own now we're getting into like the old Turner WCW stuff of like you're kind of you're not paying true TV rights and we're moving some money around and I just don't buy it. And I think this whole AEW is profitable thing, it's not. There's no way it is. And there's no way we're ever going to know if it is or not. And if Tony Khan is asked if his company is profitable, he would rather just say yes than admit that it's not and admit that he is utilizing his trust fund to fund his hobby, which is fine. He has every right to do that. But this is not a profitable company. If you were investing your money into AEW, you would not be getting a return on it because it is not a profitable entity.
Yep.
Any disagreement with that?
So, yes, I agree. I was looking at it too. So the recent numbers as we're recording here, which AJ's working hard out there, is 633,000. And that was a couple of weeks ago. It was the October 8th.
Where are you at on a timestamp?
I am at 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 13. Yep. It seems like somewhere between 600 and 700,000 is the number that I see most often, usually under 7. I should probably say 600 to 650 is probably more accurate. I'm with you. I don't know in regards to like what their contract statuses are, because I got a feeling they have some bloated contracts like that are just weighing them down. And so the TV deal, that's great, but also I think you and I were texting about you start really kind of getting into the numbers a little bit. And WrestleNomics has done a lot of good work on this that you and I enjoy reading. Like the numbers aren't there. Like I don't know if they're gonna have to make some changes. I've heard that like some of the shows might be getting canceled, like Collision, because like they're struggling to find a home for it. Like even when they do these like Battle of the Belts shows, like they just don't hit hard. I think the messaging is off too. Like am I happy that like they're moving to HBO? Sure. Or Max, whatever the fuck it's called. We're moving to Max. But then at the bottom in the small print, like one of the last things, like, and discounted pay-per-view events. I'm like, I'm paying $7 for WWE shows a month. Like, I could do 6 months of WWE on Netflix and get all those shows. Even if you said, I'm going to do it from January 1st and get Rumble through WrestleMania and then cancel it after 4 months, like I'm still paying less over 4 months than I would for one show for them. Like that has to be where their money comes from. But then also, I don't know if you got the email recently from Bleacher Report, is they're moving services. They're like, oh, well, if you want to keep your show, you have to register for this too. And I'm like, I've bought, a handful. I'm not doing that shit. Like, no. Like, I'm just moving my information to somebody else. Like, I'm not doing that. And I don't care about that. Like, I will shout out my friend Kat, her and her husband, always like they typically order them. And so she's like, that's how she keeps me connected to a lot of this is like, she'll send me the card and she's like, make your picks. And I was like, all right. And so her and I will text through the shows. And so she'll keep me updated, but I'm just not, I have no desire, like, I've said this a lot. I have no desire to give them $50, every couple of months for a show that, like, it's hard. Like, I have seen the flip side recently of like, is 5 matches on WWE cards enough? Because there was a stat out there that they haven't defended the tag titles on a pay-per-view since WrestleMania, and we're getting into Survivor Series now.
Okay.
That's like, yeah. But also, like,
oh no.
Okay, like they're not doing that, but also like the weekly product is just better. I think the 2 hours it tightens things up a little bit. There's less time for the filler. I think it's just we're kind of in like a weird 3 months until they do make the switch to Netflix of just like they can test some things. They don't have to do anything crazy, but also like we have one of the best storylines ever. We have no direction where it's going with the bloodlines. Like, yep. Hook it up. Let's do it. Like, I got no clue. So I think to your original point, yeah, I think that like the sustainability, who knows? I saw I think it was a wrestler or somebody commented. They're like, yep, or was it Moxley? I think said he's like, we are the promotion to hate. I was like, okay, like if that's how you want to phrase it, go for it. But also like, I don't want to hate you. Like I want to be able to watch something a little different, but you put me in a position where I'm not going to spend $50-$60 a month on you. Like the time slot moves all the time. Like that's the other thing. They're either getting preempted by baseball or basketball or something. And so they're just not, it's consistent. That's why I said like, we put our show out on Monday every week because consistency is important. You want to wake up and have the show there for you. And so to not know when I can watch the show like that's hard. And so I think there's a lot of things against it. Good for them. They got the TV deal, but also like, is that a lifeline? I don't know.
I still feel that this is not talked about enough. If you're charging $60 for the culmination of your monthly storylines, how much does it stunt viewership and growth? So I'm going to tune into TV. You're going to be telling me about this amazing thing that happens on Sunday. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spend $60. So what in the hell am I doing wasting my time?
So this is real quick. I pulled this up. Here's your biggest contracts in AEW right now. Okada's making roughly $4 million a year. Jericho's making roughly $5 million. Moxley $6 million. Mercedes Banks, like it just says the highest paid woman, but that who knows what that means? Like, and so. Like, but are those your future superstars? No. Like, all of them are. Jericho's way past his prime. Moxley is doing a good job, and he's like at the top of the card right now. Okada, like, I think this is his kind of. He did his runs in New Japan. He doesn't need AEW, but like he can have a relaxed schedule and hang out with his friends and do that. And so, and Sasha, like, I'm sorry, Mercedes, we'll call her by her action. Like, I don't care. Like, the random shit she generates on social media makes a bigger deal than anything she's done in the ring to me. I just don't care.
If I bought a ticket for this expecting to see the Macho Man, I'd be pretty disappointed right now.
Yeah, we still have not seen the Macho Man at this point, and so
we're 19. I'm at the where are you at in this video, by the way?
19, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay. I've had more ads than you apparently.
Yep. AJ taking out Nash took out the ref. You got AJ taking out Nash. You got Hall. Looks like we're about to get somebody cracked with the guitar at this point. Yep. Hardy. Yep. Taking the guitar shot. Oh, geez. But then falling right onto Jarrett. That looked painful. But nobody there to count. Yep.
Referee's out of commission. Wrestlers down in the ring. Wrestlers down outside. Styles slingshot crossbody lock on Hall. I'll tell you what, this thing is open wide open.
so far.
Anything down for what they've done. Being outnumbered, outside, they have given everything that they can. And if everybody's out, but wait a minute. What?
There it is.
Here it comes.
Here, the Macho Man, kidnapped earlier by the Kings of Wrestling, and Randy Savage is in the building, and Randy Savage is making his way to the ring.
You heard the roar of the crowd, and oh my gosh, the Kings of Wrestling can't believe it. Their plan backfired.
So this is funny. So I'm looking right now because AEW's got a show kind of up here where I'm at, and they're doing a smaller venue. It's a brand new venue, and so there's not as many seats. But I'm looking at where I sat before on the floor, right on the rail, which was about fifth or sixth row. I paid probably under $100 for that. It is now the All Elite Experience Gold VIP package going for fourth row on the rail, $399. There is no way on God's earth I'm spending that money.
They are in such misalignment.
Yep.
On what people will pay.
There is sitting up. Oh, here we go. We got everybody locked in here. Yep.
Oh, wait a minute, Jarrett trying to pull Savage back, but Savage fighting with everything. He did.
Randy Savage just beat the NWA champion. My God, the Macho Man did it.
The plan backfired. The Kings of Wrestling thought they had it figured out. They removed Savage from the equation, but he found a way to escape.
Wow, did that suck.
Boy, yeah. Came in, did a move, did a really shitty pin, and that's where we're at. Yep.
God, it's funny for Savage being so self-conscious about his bald spot. Like, why wouldn't you wear a bandana or something right there?
He is out there. Yep.
All right, man, let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
AJ was great. Like, Hardy actually did some good stuff. Jarrett didn't look too bad, but there was a lot had to be carried. There was a lot of spots that just didn't work. It was sloppy. There's no other way to look at it. Your thoughts? I feel like you're speechless.
I hated it. I mean, the match was fine.
Yep.
But man,
That's what it was.
Brutal.
Well,
brutal.
Here's what I got for. I have like literally 2 lines here for your.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So you had this feud, if you can call it that, died down. You had Styles went on to Final Resolution to win the TNA X Division Championship. It was the Ultimate X match. That's the you got the ropes. They make the X above the ring, and so you have that. With the belts hanging across the center of it. You had Hardy defeating Scott Hall at Final Resolution. It was actually a replacement for Hector Garza. After you had Savage left, he was gone. He didn't do anything else. And then the Kings of Wrestling, they disbanded, kind of official after this Final Resolution. And so it was actually Nash was placed in a match where the winner would challenge Jeff Jarrett in the main event of Final Resolution. And so, yeah, it was just messy. It's really the best way to put it. So the only 2 people ranked PWI on this one, AJ was 8, Jeff Jarrett was 12, which is crazy to think about. You got all these people, and they're that high on the PWI for 2004, which is crazy. So there were a lot of write-ups on this one, though, of course, whether for better or worse. The torch on this one, Savage and AJ and Hardy beat the Kings, where Savage pinned Jarrett at 18 minutes. Savage didn't come out until the final seconds of the match, punching and pinning Jarrett. Otherwise, passable action, nothing embarrassing or damaging, with Hall and Nash goofing off in an entertaining manner. 3/4 of a star. This was barely beating out the one other match for the worst match. This was the worst match, according to the Observer newsletter. Hall and Nash and Jarrett before the show, being that they're the kings of wrestling dressed up like Elvis in jumpsuit and Elvis wigs. They also did an angle where a car drove away and they acted if they had beaten up Savage, thrown him in a car, and he was kidnapped. It was actually because Savage couldn't wrestle and they were trying to hide that fact. Styles worked for 5 people, but that wasn't good enough. Although the match was more than decent when he was in, that was that was most of the way. He made a cold tag to Hardy, and the match fell apart from there. Hardy had Hall pinned when Nash pulled ref Andrew Thomas out of the ring. Hall hit Hardy with a guitar shot, yada, yada. I thought Savage looked 100 years old. I thought on TV he didn't look more. Backstage, I was told Savage looked 100 years old. I thought on TV he didn't look more than a day over 60, although he did look older than Lou Thez did when I saw him wrestle on a show in 1996, and Lou was 80. Savage threw a few punches and put Jarrett in a sleeper. Jarrett tried a sunset. Savage blocked it, punched Jarrett to the head, and got the pin. Yeah. What do you want to do? What are you thinking for your payoff score?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give this a 2.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've seen in pro wrestling, but it's just, what were you trying to accomplish? Like, it's not like Randy Savage. It's not like he went to Saudi Arabia and made $1 million to be there. So,
Yep.
it like wasn't a money thing, and he clearly wasn't in the physical condition to work a match. If you can't go in there and do an elbow drop, then why bother? Like, why not just do a run in and hit someone with a chair? But like, you built this up as a match. He didn't wrestle in the match. He was not physically capable of wrestling. If you do that on a weekly TV show, fine. If you ask someone that's a lifelong Macho Man fan to spend whatever that pay-per-view cost at the time, $30, and then they see him for 60 seconds and he clearly can't wrestle, oh, I can't believe that TNA didn't take off. Well, how many times can you screw your fans over before they say, I'm not going to buy pay-per-views, I'm not going to bother watching this stuff? It's a bait and switch. And why would Macho Man do this to his legacy? Why would TNA put him in a match when he couldn't be in a match? Why not do a run-in? Why not do a guest referee, timekeeper spot, something else? So I just think all parties are to blame for this. It was just completely idiotic. And Nash and Hall, it's funny because Nash goes on his podcast every week and he's so critical of everyone else. Yet here I see this guy that, is goofing off in an Elvis shirt, and he's just making a mockery of himself. He's just stealing a paycheck, and he'd probably admit that. So I hated this, man. And Hardy and AJ did a nice job. They did the best they could.
I'm looking. So this was 2004. He was this was Nash debuted along with Scott Hall on November 7th, 2004. And so looking at this one, like he was literally in TNA for a month before this show happened. And this was the best you have for them. Like it just, and so, this was one of his first matches there. Now he went on, I'm looking, they were there 2009. He was there 2011 still. Yeah, and so he was there for quite a while, 2004 to 2011 on and off, which is crazy when you think about it. And so, I just don't like. I'm going to give this one a 2. I don't even remember what you said, but there's just no. It's just like that. You got to be able to find something better. Like you have to. And I get that. Like, okay, they want to still go and maybe like, hey, like you couldn't do that. Like, no, I couldn't. But also like, that's not what I want to watch. And maybe that was why people weren't watching TNA was because in between all these 5-star incredible AJ Styles matches and Christopher Daniels matches and all this stuff, like, to do that, and then you get this in between it, like it totally skews everything. Like your averages are just that much worse and terrible. Like, and it doesn't work for anybody. Yeah.
Not good, man. Not good.
Nope. So okay, well we'll send him home happy though, even though this was not a great one. We do have some, like I said, well we're getting to the end of the year here. This is crazy, and so it's December 2nd now. Our next big kind of a big match here is or big show is going to be Rumble. And so for WWE, unless we kind of throw something in there at some point that hasn't been announced yet, but I'm looking how are we closing the year out here. I'm going to spoil things just a little bit here. We're going to our first ever WWE Heat, Tom. We got the Boss Man, Ken Shamrock, Mankind, and The Rock next week, and so short match, but should be a good one. I've talked a little bit about William Regal on the show before, so I actually found us a William Regal match taking on Cesaro in NXT from 2013. That should be good. And then I see Undertaker Mankind on here. We'll wait. No, I won't spoil our main our end of the year match, but we got some good stuff lined up here. I see, and then I'm working a little bit on next year too. I don't even think I've told you what we got planned for next year yet, but I see a Madison Square Garden show on there. I see a Mr. McMahon and Ric Flair. We've always got stuff. Yeah, I know exactly. So we've always got. I see another casket match. Who doesn't love that from the Royal Rumble? We got that going on as well too. I see an exciting dark match. I will spoil this one on the list for the future. This was a dark match from Wrestle Challenge in 1994. This is the Steiner brothers taking on one Bret and Owen Hart. So
I think I may have sent that one to you on Twitter. That looks awesome. Yeah.
You did. So we got that. So we got good stuff lined up for the future. We're not going anywhere for a while, and so I'm excited.
Good. I'm pumped to cover all this stuff. We're doing some good work here. We took one for the team this week to cover this match for you, and again, you got to cover these moments because the significance is, Randy Savage's last match. He comes out of nowhere. We never really hear from him on the national stage ever again. It's a big deal. You have to cover this stuff. And again, if all you're going to do is sit here and cover flippity floppity 5-star matches of guys we've never heard of or know nothing about other than that they're really good at doing gymnastics, not interesting to me, and I'd say not interesting to most people because it doesn't sell, and it does to a small audience. But if you're trying to run a business, if you're trying to fill arenas, if you're trying to get TV deals, you need more than that. So, all right, good stuff, Jeff. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.